Here is what experienced buyers check when buying properties close to the beach. One of the main things what to look for is the clima. Where is the fan placed? Here is a good example where fans should be placed. This is behind the building, close to the elevator. There is like a compartment where the fans are located, because those fans get noisy. Here is another building actually has nice compartment for the fans. Here is a building where the fans are located on the balcony and causes a lot of problems if you want to put the glass on your balcony. Here is another example. Let's just zoom in a little bit. All the way on the left, we see somebody put glass on their balcony. But next to them, there is a fan inside the balcony. So how does that work? Well, a couple of things. You can actually move the fan. It costs you money, and you also have to have a spot for the fan, which sometimes you just don't have it. And sometimes if you are close to the roof, you can put the fan on the roof. The other thing is you can put the glass but not fully enclosed, and you have to leave room for the fan because the fan needs air. You cannot put it inside the closed balcony. Now let's talk about amenities like indoor pool, gym, sauna, Turkish bath/hammam. Those are some things that they sell you on, but is it really worth it? In this building, there is an indoor pool, but this pool is not being operated during winter. This building also has a sauna, which is not being used. Also, this building has a table tennis room/gym, which is used a lot. So these are the things that are actually worth having, a gym and a table tennis. But when it comes to Turkish bath/hammam, you need somebody to scrub you. Like, you're not gonna use that. It's just not something you use. And also, the indoor pool is so overrated. Most buildings don't actually keep it open during winter, so you're just being sold for something that you think you're getting, but it's not usable, so it's almost like you don't even have it. The saunas are nice, but most buildings don't operate it, or if they do operate it, maybe like once a week for a few hours, maybe 2 times a week for a few hours, because they use a lot of electricity and most buildings just don't operate it. Let's talk about something that's very important. Distance to the sea. How far actually is your apartment from the sea? In my honest opinion, it should not be more than 500 meters away. Most apartments are within that range. However, some people buy apartments over 500 meters away from the sea, and that is trouble. Some people buy apartments that's like 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers away, and that is trouble. Why? Well, first of all, during summer, it gets really, really hot. So to walk 1 kilometer or more, even at 500 meters, is a big ask. A lot of times you're bringing snacks, you're bringing water, you're bringing your beach stuff, maybe toys for the kids, and you go there and it's like wavy. It's not a good time to go swimming. It gets really hot and you don't want to walk in that heat for a long time. So what do you get if the apartment has glass balcony? Well, here's a good looking building. This construction company called Yekta is well known in these areas, and they offer high quality apartments/residence. So if the apartment has glass windows, you can almost make it like an extra room. Maybe it's your dining room or a playroom or just a place to play cards or something like that. Just kind of use it as a storage. Also privacy. You can put your clothing rack there and dry your clothes. Do I suggest putting glass on the balcony? Of course. I have 2 balconies because my apartment is like 2 floors, what they call here duplex. And we have glass on both balconies, and it's amazing. I would definitely suggest it to everybody. One of the most useful things you can look for is the generator. Here is one. It's very common here for the electricity to go out just unexpectedly and be out for hours. The electricity here in Turkey is not the most stable, and it will go out just randomly and will come back randomly. So it's very useful, especially during hot summer days, to have a generator as a backup for your clima, for your AC, and also for the winter, because we use climas to heat ourselves if needed. One of the small details that not many people pay attention to is how big is the swimming pool. This building, for example, has a swimming pool. So yeah, nice. It's medium size, but the building itself is about 11 or 12 floors up. It may have 5-6 apartments per floor, which could be easily 50 plus apartments. And this swimming pool is not big enough for this building. Sometimes you may have 2 or 3 of these buildings and only that size of swimming pool or even smaller. Let's talk about floors. A lot of people don't want to buy on the very first ground floor or the last floor. Why? Well, the main problem for the top floor is you can have leakage from the rain, like water leakage. That's the main thing. Other problems are electricity can go out, and if you don't have a generator, then it's a big problem to walk down the stairs, especially if the stairs are not your thing. But even if you have the generator, it still could be a problem, because there are times where generator will not have diesel in it, or it's just broken, it doesn't work for some reason, so you are stuck just going up down the stairs, and that could be a problem, especially if you have difficulties with the stairs going up and down. And when it gets too hot, you don't want to do that. Or if you're coming back from a shopping, maybe you're carrying groceries or something, you don't want to do that too. For the ground level, the biggest problem here is the humidity. Humidity gets inside the walls and stuff, and it creates problems, and it may cost you a lot of money. Also, a lot of people don't want to buy ground floor, so when you are selling down the road one day, you may have difficulties to find the right buyer. This is something that's very useful. An emergency fire escape. I have to say that most, especially newer buildings here, do not have the fire escape route. That will be it for this video. Thanks for watching.